Mulranny is a small village in County Mayo on the west coast. We're between Achill Island and Westport, and we're kind of the gateway to North Mayo as well. There's a population of about 350 people in the village, very geared towards tourism. We've lovely beaches, walks, the Great Western Greenway goes through the village, and the Wild Atlantic Way also goes through the village, so we're very lucky in that respect.
Well, because where Mulranny is situated, mostly what's happened in Mulranny in terms of employment is St. Brendan's Village and the hospital there. And then it's all tourism related with Mulranny Hotel. So people are employed, lucky enough to be employed in the village, are employed in those two mainly. Outside of that, we have farming, we have a small bit of fishing. We always say that we have the mountains at our back and the sea at our feet, and Mulranny is sitting on that area in between. Outside of that, people would have to travel into Westport. We have craft shops, we have pub of course, and we have that beautiful promenade now where people can stop because the Greenway goes right through Mulranny on its way to Achill. So we get a lot of tourism related. People coming to visit, people coming to stay. It's a nice area, it's walks. It's a beautiful area actually. It's a good place to come for a holiday.
The community had seen that the tourism industry had kind of failed because it had happened without really people noticing, I suppose, so we were determined that that wasn't going to happen again. So the community, I suppose, rallied together and we got involved in the Community Futures programme with Mayo County Council, where the community were able to prioritise what they wanted. So it was a bottom-up approach. They could prioritise what they wanted. And the first thing that the most important thing that they wanted at that time was footpaths through the village, because we didn't have any. It was extremely dangerous. Children couldn't go to school, or you couldn't walk between the hotel and down to St. Brendan's. There was no footpaths to link the village at all. And we had a group of young architects who came from UCD to help us to come up with some designs for the village, and that's how the contact was made with UCD and that Geodesign West project. So Mulranny was kind of like a trial for that Geodesign West process. So we had a group, I think, of 30 people. There wasn't Michael, there was 10 experts, 10 from the community, and then we had 10 kind of like from local authorities and things like that. And we all met in a room over 2 days with Professor Carl Steinitz and Harishi Ballet. I think Carl Steinitz had designed the programme, and Harishi then had actually put it up online. So it was an online platform that we could use. So you could, we had all the maps from Mayo County Council, and you could work in real time. So if people had a suggestion about something that they would like to hear or a view to be protected, that could go in immediately onto the computer, and everyone could see in real time what ideas they were coming up with. Like, you're getting an aerial view of your whole landscape and your village or your area that you may not think of normally. You're looking at it from above to see, well, housing might go in here. Or,
yes.
Maybe that's the place to put in. If the school is too small, we need to do an extension or put in a pitch or whatever. So you're actually looking at it from above, which is not normally something that you would do in a community plan.
It was like on a workshop basis, so you sat at a table with one group and you put forward ideas. Say, for instance, someone suggested that we should have maybe another hotel or some facility, and it was fine to put forward that idea, and that group at that table then put forward all of those lists of ideas. But the next day you sat down, you were at a different table, and so you had to actually take that project and then figure out what effect water supply, ESB supply, sewage, and all of these, how they were going to impact on the environment and how you were going to make them happen. It was probably one of the best things we ever sat at, because we had all of the people from the local authority there, the planning offices, and I would say they probably learned a lot as well. But what we learned from it was that you could bring up subjects that would normally be sensitive in a community. And certainly in a town hall situation, somebody would have taken a position and opposed it immediately. It's a much better tool for dealing. In fact, we used it in this year when we were, the local authority were building 16 houses, social housing, and social housing had been getting a lot of bad press locally in Westport and in other areas. And we met with the Community Futures Group, met with Mayo County Council, and we got the information directly on the number of houses, the number of bedrooms, how they'd be situated, and we fed that back to the community. But we also done a geodesign survey where people could just put forward their suggestions as to how these things might sit, not just on the site that was picked, but how it might be integrated with the other buildings that were near it, like the hospital and the community centre, and how the whole thing could be viewed as one. And that was very interesting what came out of that. I think we probably need to refine it down so that we can deal with it on a smaller level than the one that we did at the first time, which was kind of looking at the whole community area, which is the mapped area, as it were, which is all of Mulranny village and a bit either side of it. So that's I think that's where the exciting part of geodesign is yet to really be fully realised.
So we're here at Mulranny Tourist Office. We've greened this building. We don't use any chemicals. We have a water station there, and our latest thing is we've put up solar panels on the roof that power our community e-bikes. And this is part of the development that came out of one of our community action plans. And you can see it's fantastic. We have bicycle racks, we have picnic tables, and people who are on the Great Western Greenway or locals can come here and have a picnic and admire the fantastic views. And it's really transformed the village for us, made it pedestrian friendly. So these are two of Mulranny's old Irish goats here beside us, and they're part of our breeding programme that we have taking place here in Mulranny to try and protect and to save the breed. So we're in the Gift of Hands craft studio here today, and the ladies here give the gift of their hands. They're all very crafty, and they make goods from Foxwood Woolen Mills offcuts and other waste materials, and they sell the product, and all the profits that they make go directly back into the community for community projects.
We were very aware of, after we'd done the geodesign the first time, is it created excitement. People suddenly became very excited, and I was asked a good few times afterwards, what happens next, next, when are we going to go back to that? And we hadn't thought it through at that stage, but it creates a certain amount of excitement that so many kind of contentious issues, things that could cause problems, could cause a row, could cause people to say, how come they were talking about our field and we weren't there? That doesn't happen for some reason. They got caught up in the idea themselves. They were as excited as we were about it. I would say that's probably one of the biggest strengths in Mulranny, that people themselves woke up to the fact that if you want something and you want it bad enough, and you go about it the right way, you can make it happen. The money kind of gets found, or you find a way of funding it through different aspects. And sometimes you have to deconstruct your plan and start off with only part of it, but eventually you get there. But I think that's the success story in Mulranny, is that people working together, really working together, and not just a small group but a big group.